pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, this evening we will be starting with Trustee Snagowski.
Here.
Stapleton.
Here.
Blatzer.
Here.
Kwasniewski.
Here.
Maher.
Here.
McCafferty.
Here.
Okay, great. Next up is the consent agenda, which will consist of the approval of minutes from the June 22nd Village Board meeting, as well as the approval of minutes from the July 17th Committee of the Whole meeting minutes, along with the approval of disbursements. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion by Trustee Snagowski, seconded by Trustee McClafferty. Any questions?
Is item C on the consent agenda?
Oh, I'm
A
sorry.
resolution on C?
Okay, I'm sorry. C, the resolution authorizing the release of a letter of credit for the Equestrian of Meadows subdivision.
So
Do this
moved.
again. All right.
Second.
Okay, great. Motion by Trustee Stapleton, seconded by Trustee Snagowski. Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Blatzer.
Yes.
Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
McCafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. Okay, next up, on the mayor's report, I would like to announce a new volunteer committee. We will be requesting applications to serve on this new committee. The duties will involve the oversight and improvement projects within the Heritage Quarry Recreation Area, and this obviously will include all the items related to that. We are currently at the beginning stages of formalizing this committee. We are in the process of receiving applications, and anyone interested in providing guidance to the village board regarding this, we definitely will welcome your feedback there. We currently have a group of individuals that are serving in a similar type of committee. We are now at the point and stage where we have a private investor that is looking to make an investment in this area, along with the ongoing restoration by Citgo. So we're looking to formalize this committee, and we are currently in the process of doing that. If you are interested, please obtain an application on our website located under the Village Hall, appointed boards and commissions, or call 630-257-1590. Trustee Maher will be assisting in this. Dave is our liaison, and again, looking forward to looking at those applications. And again, we had great turnout with this process on the planning and zoning, and we're looking for similar feedback as well. So please, any questions, comments, or if you're looking to join this, please submit your application. Next up, our condolences go out to both the Melton family and the Rizzo family. Gina Melton worked at the Park District, and Danny Rizzo worked here at the village in our Public Works Department. Again, our deepest condolences to both of the families, and our prayers and concerns are with them. Next up, we're inviting the community to provide input to the village master signage plan. The input is for signage that includes our gateway, wayfinding, and informational signage. And again, we will also be identifying priority locations for the placement of this signage. Our village planner, Heather Vallone, will be at the Lamont Artisan Market on this Tuesday, the car show on Wednesday, and the Sunset Soiree this Thursday. So please, we encourage everyone to take time out, go over and look at the signage that Heather will be presenting, and we will be looking for everyone's feedback on that. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, the Artisan Market will be held from 4 to 7 at the Township Community Center on Alba. The market will be held, rain or shine. If we have inclement weather, we will move it indoors. Also tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., the Park District will hold their free Pack the Park event with kids' games, hot dogs, and the movie Mona at Northview Park. On Wednesday from 6 to 9, the Lamont Legends Cruise Nights featuring the exotic and high-end cars takes place downtown. In addition, there will be a craft beer and wine tasting sponsored by Ruffled Feathers Golf Club. So again, we encourage everyone to come out and join us. And then this Thursday, we will have, as I mentioned earlier, the Sunset Soiree. There are 2 left this season. This Thursday, it's the Dick Diamond and the Dusters that will perform. And the walk-ins will also perform as well. The concert area opens up at 6 o'clock. And the band start at 7 p.m. at Stevens Street in downtown Lamont. So again, we encourage everyone to come out. We had great attendance for both the soiree as well as the cruise nights. So again, come out and join us while the summer's still here. Also, Lamont Quarrymen Vintage Ball Club has a home game at Mount Assisi Field in Lamont this Saturday at 1 p.m. You can find more information on the Lamont Historical Society website. And lastly, the Lamont Art and Culture Commission has a new exhibit that opened up this past Friday. It's the Reclaimed, Reimagined, proposed exhibition focusing on second and third works created from previously used materials. The exhibit runs through September 17th at the Lamont Center for the Arts located at 1243 State Street in Unit 101. That's it for the mayor's report. We'd like to open it up now for audience participation. If anyone would like to speak, feel free to please come to the podium and state your name.
Good evening. My name is Jim Jandora. I live at 648 Woodglen Court, and I want to congratulate and welcome the new administration. Looking for progressiveness in the community, and thanks for encouraging village members to come out and to make recommendations and hear some of the things that we might have as ideas that you would consider implementing to make this a better community. So I have several copies. I'll give you a copy of what I'm going to present or just discuss. So I know I got 3 minutes, so I'll be brief. You have a copy of this, and I submit this for your minutes as well. So as far as economic development goes, Mayor, I met you at one of your earlier campaign programs, and I talked to you about the rugby team that we have here in Lamont. I suggest maybe we could have the town sponsor this group and promote it in such a way that, I'm not a rugby player, but maybe, people would come out and visit the team, watch them play, some advertising in local community, neighboring communities that our neighbors might want to come out and see the exhibitions and the events that these athletes provide, because it could bring revenue into this community. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to get some of the other projects done, is to bring new revenue in as opposed to taxing. And I hope that taxing is not going to come up on any agenda soon. I like the fact that you've got these band programs, but they're on the weekdays. My wife and I have gone on the weekends. I'd like to see the village sponsor more activity on the weekends, maybe with different themes. There's certainly enough ethnic themes to follow, as well as different musical themes. So I'd like you to consider doing something like that. As far as downtown beautification goes, I'd like to see the community resurrect the canal improvement program. We've gone down to the restaurants on Front Street, and boy, if we can get some trees planted. I personally have been engaged with the Citgo on the cleanup program that's done at the quarries with the high school students have to do their, I forgot what do they call it? Service project. Service project, thank you. So they're out there. Perhaps, they could come out and spend a half a day in beautification and clean up of the canal area, and let's make that something we could be proud of, because that will attract more people downtown. Also, let's see. My wife and I, you go to different neighboring communities, Downers Grove, LaGrange, they got beautiful downtown areas. What would it cost to put some planters out there? Our downtown area is somewhat dismal looking. It wouldn't, to put flower baskets out in front of different merchants, they maintain them, maybe the city could provide them. At least it enhances and creates a more beautiful environment and would attract more people, again, as a thought. I brought up in the past, and on this no-horn zone, I was told there was a study done by one of the engineering firms, $2 million. I find that hard to believe that every community in the greater Chicagoland area that has trains going through them spent $2 million to improve the train crossings to get this no-horn zone put into place. There's got to be a better way, maybe with collaboration with other communities. What did they do? How can we get this done at a reasonable price? Because I got to tell you, at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, we don't really need to be listening to somebody leaning on the horn, and some are more excessive than others. And that's just in a way of enhancing the quality of life in this community. Mayor, I know you have a business background. Perhaps there's, in the area of cost reduction, there's some collaboration that could be done, economies of scale, talking with other communities, the township of Lamont, and getting some economies of scale. Do we need all the equipment that we have? Is there ways of utilizing snow removal, lawn maintenance equipment in a more economical way, sharing of these assets, and getting projects done as a business would look at it, as opposed to the village of Lamont doing something on its own? So I'm suggesting, some collaborative approach might be a way of reducing the cost of the administrative cost of this community. And then lastly, 4th Street connects with Keogh Street, and there's a gate there. And for the sake of safety, for the sake of perhaps saving a life, why can't that be removed? Because my house borders 1st Street, and I'd like to see some of the traffic on 1st Street avoided, cut back. And if you open up 4th Street through to Keogh, which makes no sense why that gate is there, to allow traffic to flow through, to allow emergency vehicles, heaven forbid they're needed, to get through in a more expedient manner. So I just submit this as some ideas to this board and administration as consideration, and thank you for your time.
Jim, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I know you hit on a lot of topics there. You took time out and, this one page, and we appreciate your feedback. And I can't go point for point here with time, but just want to let you know on a couple of high-level areas that you mentioned, as far as the beautification downtown, as far as the canal. I mean, we've implemented a merchant alliance group. We're taking into that account. We're looking at their ideas. They're the business owners. They know the customers best. So something like that, definitely, we hear you. And as far as the Heritage Quarry Committee that we just talked about, those are the things that can address, the natural assets that we have here are the canal, right, the quarries. And we're going to talk potentially later on about maybe a private investor that is looking to build something. So hear you loud and clear on several of those points. And again, I'd like to follow back up with you personally and, take a little bit more time with these. Do any of the other trustees have any comments?
The only comment I have is that I know 4th Street is a road that we had on our active transportation plan to open up as well and be a main thoroughfare on the active transportation plan, so.
I've always wanted 4th Street to be open myself.
Ditto.
Okay.
Well, thanks again for your attention, your time, and consideration.
Jim, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other audience participants? Okay. All right. Well, moving on for the clerk's report.
Thank you. I don't really have too much of a report. I did attend the Municipal Clerks of Illinois summer seminar last week in Bloomington, along with 41 other clerks from around the state. It was very poorly attended. There are usually closer to 70. I don't know if the heat got him or what, but anyway, there were only 44 other clerks and myself who attended. It was one of the days, Friday, was an all-day session on FEMA, which luckily the gentleman is a very, very good speaker and very easy to listen to, because all day with FEMA was, and he had been, the same speaker had spoken to the clerks 18 months before this, so we're getting the idea of all this now. Anyway, though, it was very interesting, actually. The first ordinance we have this evening, if it passed, would be O-41-17. And this is amending Title 10 of the Lamont, Illinois Municipal Code.
Okay, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Blatzer. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The staff has been looking at a parking solution for the downtown residents because of a lack of permanent parking. Because the streets and the lots in the downtown area have 4-hour parking restrictions, it really creates a permanent lack of parking for those residents. We also understand that the parking garage is underutilized, and we are recommending that we create and issue permits to those downtown residents in order to allow them a solution for their parking in the parking garage only. We're recommending that the fee be set at $250 per year, and that we will look at this program on an annual basis and make sure that that there's still ample garage parking for the folks who patronize our area. In the ordinance before you, we're also cleaning up some additional language to distinguish between previous permits that were issued for the employee parking and this new permit. So the employee parking permits will be blue and be designated so in the ordinance, and the new parking permits will be red. The red permits will be for the parking garage only, the blue for the parking garage and 2 other lots in the downtown area.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Are the tags, are they for the per car or per,
They're hang tags that'll be hung off of a.
are they assigned to a certain car, or are they just?
Will be purchased for a certain, vehicle.
Are we limiting the number that we'll sell for the garage? Is there a limit?
We haven't discussed that yet. I don't think that there's a need to. I've gone down to the parking garage on several different days, and there's about 27 or so cars that I believe are parked there as permanent, mostly loft resident second vehicles. I don't think it'll overwhelm the parking garage at all. And I think we can get it. We could kind of look at that as we go, as we do that annual review. If it feels that we're starting to fill that garage up, then we have to take another look at it.
Okay. I think we just want to be careful of the businesses in that area.
Sure.
So.
Finance is going to be the only ones that are going to sell them, and we have them. And I only ordered 200, but when we get around 50, I'll be notifying the chief and let him know. So we'll be monitoring it, because it's only going to be one place where we can sell them.
And can you refresh my memory on how many spots are in the garage?
82.
82?
82 residents.
82 are residents
Residents,
currently, but there's
yeah.
260 total spaces, with 82 reserved right now for the residents. And when we open up the program, we don't have a concrete cutoff on, but if we get to 50 and 100 and the garage is being filled up, we will cut it off. We just don't know what that number is at this point. But definitely understand your concern not to fill up the garage with residents and commuters alike, but we want to keep spots open for the business community.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Chief. Chris, can we have a roll call?
Mayor, I've got one
Oh, sure, go
other
ahead.
thing to add on that. I'm just thinking about it. Being that this is a new and quite, how would you put it, could be considered complicated to some, figuring out what they need, what they have, what's new. Is there any way we can post this separately, just this ordinance right here, so people can read about it? Chris, can you talk to Linda about that maybe and see what we can do, just on the side, like we do for other announcements, as opposed to having it where you got to dig through the website to find it. Let's bring it up front, so if somebody's got a question, you can direct them right there and they can find it simply and read through it. And that might help everybody understand it.
Yes, and the chief and I are going to work on letters for, to go out to the lofts and anybody else. And
Right.
we'll post that letter, and then we'll post the ordinance as well.
But this will have effect just on everybody, including the businesses, so anybody who wants information on it, if we can make it really easy to find on the website, that'd be great.
Yep, sure.
Sorry about that.
Thanks. Okay, roll call.
Snakowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Blatzer,
Yes.
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McCafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Okay, the next ordinance, if passed this evening, would be O-42-17, and this is authorizing the sale and disposal of surplus village property.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
So moved?
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Blatzer, seconded by trustee Kwasniewski. Ralph?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a resolution to dispose of a dump truck that has outlived its usefulness with us. It's a 2001 International dump, 2.5 ton. The truck is 16 years old, which is right around the threshold we'd like to keep our bigger trucks. We don't like to keep them any longer because they depreciate so much. This truck is being traded in on a new Peterbilt truck, which you'll see in a couple minutes. Staff recommendation is to dispose of this surplus property. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Ralph. Any questions or comments?
What kind of, I know the salt plays, wear and tear on it. Is it bad condition, or what kind of condition is it in?
It is. The whole undercarriage of the truck, the electrical, the hydraulics, the brake lines, they're all in need of repair. The truck is, I don't like to put it out unless we really, really need it, because it's not exactly safe. The floor of the dump and the floor of the cab has been repaired and patched. So it's time to go. I mean, it's been around a long time. So, yes, it's in poor condition.
Ralph, the new dump, will that have a stainless steel?
Yes, it will. Yes.
Just a comment, I know that Public Works does a really good job maintaining the vehicles, and they're kept indoors, right? They're all indoors?
They're all indoors.
And that has actually allowed them to live 16 years, because if they were stored outside, it would have an even shorter lifespan. So we're just fortunate that the talented folks there are maintaining the vehicles to keep them alive as long as they can. So they pretty much have bandaged and Band-Aided them as much as they can, but at this point, it's not really safe to take them out. So it's a good idea to trade it in.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Thanks again, Ralph. Roll call, please.
Snakowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Blatzer,
Yes.
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, great, motion approved.
The next item would be a resolution, and this would be R-40-17, and this is approving the purchase of a 2.5-ton dump truck.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Blatzer, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Ralph?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, this is the truck that we're looking to purchase to replace the 2001 International. It is a 2018 Peterbilt Model 348 truck. It's a 2.5-ton truck with plow and spreader, and it will have the wetting capabilities to wet the salt before we throw it down. So we're purchasing this through the National Joint Powers Alliance, which we've used before. It's a national bid process through the manufacturers. So Peterbilt trucks are on that list. So we're using the NGPA for this purchase, not to exceed $166,500. Staff recommendation is to please buy it.
Okay. Any-
Question, Ralph, on the wetting, is that where they add the beet juice to the,
You can use beet juice, you can use calcium chloride, whatever you choose. We use the calcium chloride on our other truck that has the wetting capabilities. It works well on lower temperatures on the bridge. It keeps the ice from building up. So it's a good weapon to have against the icing that we face. Maybe not in the last couple of years, but that we will face again.
How did they ever find out that beet juice would work?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they were just trying to get rid of it somehow.
The truck that turned over. I have another question for you. You said it has capabilities. Are you taking that option?
Yes.
So it will be set up for it?
It will be,
It's
but you do not have to-
potentially capable, it is going to be set up for it.
It is set up for the wedding system. You don't have to use it if
Right.
you don't want to, but it will have it, yes.
Okay.
And just one other quick item of note, these items, large ticket items, trucks of this nature, they don't pop up annually. They're part of a 5-year comprehensive plan that we put forward as part of our budget. So you guys will see that in a few months from now. I know the staff's real excited about that. Budget time will begin again, and we'll update that 5-year plan so that, when a new truck needs to be replaced, that's out there in the plan so we can plan for it ahead of time. So just want to make that quick note. It's all part of the budget, and for a piece of equipment that lasts 15 years, 20 years, we oftentimes do a lease purchase. It makes sense, so we don't rotate it out of the system or the village too quickly, so that's what we're doing here. We're at a 3-year lease. We'll own it at the end of the lease. Correct, Ralph?
Yes.
Yep. So, thank you.
Thanks, Ralph. George, okay, roll call.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Latzer?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item is another resolution, if passed. It would be R-41-17. And this is approving a utility easement agreement with Commonwealth Edison.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, if I heard that right, trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Blatzer. George? or
I'll take
Ralph?
this one, Mr. Mayor, thank you. ComEd contacted the Village of Lamont to get an easement granted for a electrical service for Hannah Marine, which is located off of Grant Road, off of 83, which is actually 108th Street, but it's not marked and it's hard to find. Excuse me. The easement would be a 10-foot wide easement by about 275 feet long. It stretches across our reserve strip for the I&M Canal. We have no utilities down there. If we do in the future, it'll be a long time out, and then we'll just have to rework the easement at that point if we need to. But staff recommendation is to grant this easement to ComEd for the 108th Street Hannah Marine service.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay, thanks, Ralph. Can we have a roll call, please?
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Latzer?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item, and the last item, would be a resolution also, R-42-17, and this is approving the negotiation of a license agreement for a portion of the village-owned Canal Reserve Strip.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Maher, seconded by trustee McClafferty. George?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a resolution approving the negotiation of a license agreement for village-owned property, the village-owned Canal Reserve Strip. To give a little background on the project, Lamont Trails Adventure Park, or LTAP Acquisition LLP, has purchased and assembled property within the Heritage Quarry Recreation Area. As the mayor was mentioning, other projects going on in our quarry area. This is one of them. The LTAP acquisition intends to construct and operate a recreational park. Still very early in the planning process for that overall development, but in general, they intend to utilize its own property for construction, but also utilize other property, village-owned, long-term for utilization and access to their existing property. As one of the first steps in the project, LTAP Acquisition is requesting utilization of village-owned I&M Canal Reserve Strip property adjacent to their property. And there's a map in your packet today depicting the precise area. The property will be utilized for access to its property for improvements and planning for its project as it goes through the architectural planning, the process to receive entitlements from the village. So again, it's a long process, but at this stage, it's an opportunity for the village to allow utilization of its land during those pre-planning phases. We brought this up at the Committee of the Whole last Monday. The board was receptive to the idea for utilization of our property. It's not out of the ordinary. We have other property in the downtown, for example, where the village allows utilization through a license agreement. So I think the board was receptive to providing a license agreement at this time, and for nominal consideration, as long as the property is maintained according to our standards. And that's something that will be negotiated, by myself and the mayor as you guys are giving authorization for the village administrator and the mayor to enter into this license agreement moving forward. It should be noted also before I can open it up for questions that there's, again, plenty of steps along the process, additional negotiation with other taxing bodies, the village on other land, and this is really a first step to allow them to continue planning for their potential project.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just to reiterate what George said, the first of many, many steps. Once we get further along with this negotiation, we will be hearing from, the Lamont Trails Adventure Park. They will be coming to the board. They need to come to the board for entitlements. And at that time, we will be hearing their long-term plans. We've gotten some preliminary, but we're very excited about it. They will have a presentation for us. Now, we're too early in the process right now, but as we get further down the road, hopefully in short order, we will hear a full range plan with more specifics. All right. With that being said, any other comments, questions? Okay, thanks, George. Okay, roll call, please.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Blatzer?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
That's all I have this evening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, village attorney report, Andrew.
I have no report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Next up, village administrator report, George.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple quick items for you today. Just one last reminder, maybe we'll do another one next month. Vehicle stickers are due at the end of this month. July 31st is the final day to purchase the vehicle sticker for your vehicles. And after that period, there will be an additional fee assessed on the sticker. So please come in and get your sticker. There'll be one more Monday. I was reminded there's one more Monday in the month. And so Chris and our finance department will be open late on Monday. We're open every day, Monday through Friday, to purchase your sticker. But if you have to come in after hours, next Monday is your last after hours day to come in and purchase your sticker. Again, it's an important revenue stream. I know that's not the most popular item program that we provide here in Lamont, but it does. When we talked about the capital equipment that we purchased, previous board meetings in the police department, public works department, many of our trucks are funded out of this revenue stream. We do earmark it for capital, and I think that's important. There's you could see tangible results of your investment with your vehicle stickers. So one more, July 31st is the final day, and we received, I think we've already had 8,000, I think. So yeah, we're doing pretty good so far, but if you have an opportunity to come in towards the end of the month before you're assessed an additional fee. Another quick item, just to follow up on Mr. Jandora's comment. I'll be reaching out to him on many of these items, and along with the mayor, and a couple of the items are going to, we're already working on, regarding economic development and, the quiet zone. Those things are ever changing on requests for the trains to quiet their horn. It's a process. I know we get that request often via email or call. We are working with, Romeoville and currently Romeoville and Lockport. Lockport has since found a new avenue to fund their quiet zone. But we are continuing to work with Romeoville to kind of bring costs down and create a quiet zone. But it's costly, and there's many steps to it that continue to change year after year. So we are working on that, but I'll reach back out to Mr. Jandor and update the board
It was
accordingly.
over $1 million, if I
It's probably close to $2 million. Yeah, the problem, we have so many crossings in Lamont. That is the
Number of
crossing.
crossings is the issue.
It's in many other towns, if you go even up in Downers Grove, they don't have 5 and 6 and 7 crossings like we do. So, even if there was a quiet zone procured up in the north for $1 million, those are different situations. So, potential projects like we were talking about tonight, there could be a new crossing, so that does change. That could reduce the exposure for the railroad. So that could bring the number down. So those are things that constantly change. But we are working with an engineering company, working with Romeoville on together with. So we're not both paying for engineering. We're bringing costs down and looking at it long term.
And real quick, just high level, what specifically are they doing to the crossings that produces a $2 million or $1.5 million?
Yeah,
bill?
so you have to improve each, you don't necessarily have to improve each crossing, but you do have to improve a number of them to a point where you reach a level where you're essentially buying credits against their exposure. So if you, for example, one of the improvement recommendations is part of a recent study, and it's all available on our website, on Lamont Road, they would recommend a quadrant gate. So there's 2 gates on each side, and there's a separate pedestrian gate. So if you make those safety improvements, then you earn credits, and when you reach a certain value, then you're able to apply for your quiet zone. The problem is if there's incidents on the track, the required value changes, so you're constantly, it's a moving target. So it's a tough process. It takes years, and ultimately, comes down to capital planning. Once we have our number, we'll put into our capital budget, and the board can evaluate it along with every other project in town.
Okay, great.
Last item, I did want to just take the opportunity today to introduce our newest staff member, Jason Berry. Sorry, he didn't know I was going to do this to him today. Our community development director. No speech. You don't have to give a speech today. Next month. No, actually, I just wanted to welcome him to the team. He started, I think, July 5th, so he's already hit the ground running, working on a lot of projects related to, community development, economic development, many of the items we were talking about today with the resident comment. So you will see Mr. Berry, and as we continue to bring development to the town, he will oversee that process, and he will work closely with myself, the mayor, and the board on economic development projects. You will see him and hear from him more so down the line here. But I just want to welcome him to the team and introduce him to the board, which you've already met him last week, but to the community. If Bill could pan over to Jason, you'll see, if you see him walking around there.
He's like, which camera?
So thank you. Welcome, Jason.
Happy to be here. More than happy to be here. Very excited. Welcome. Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Great, George. Okay, next up, board reports. Are we good? All right. Staff reports. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to talk about signs. So we get a lot of calls about crosswalk signs, sometimes complaints about the cars failing to stop at the signs, and I think there's a general misunderstanding about what the authority of a lot of those signs are. So the village uses several different crosswalk configurations depending on the speed and traffic volume of an intersection. So at the crosswalks with stoplights, cars and pedestrians each obey their own signals, and that's the easy one, but there's several additional signs utilized in the area away from signalized intersections, and the authority of those signs incorporates the coloring and style of all other traffic signage. So, for example, yellow is a cautionary color, and red indicates direction to the public. So the most common sign that we have under our crosswalks is a yellow quadrangle sign that either has a image of a person or 2 persons, and all those are directing the motorists to do is to slow and be on the lookout for pedestrian crossings. There's a lot of other signage that's yellow, and it just means caution, maybe a deaf person lives in this area, is crossing. Those are the types of things, and cars are not required to stop. They have the right-of-way in that area, and pedestrians need to monitor traffic and cross when it is safe to do so. The second type of signage, so an example of that type of sign is posted at 127th and Eagle Crest right now. Just has the image of 2 people crossing, and all that is cautionary for the folks that are driving down 127th Street. They're not required to stop. The second one is red. So you will see these. There's a stop sign, a stop for pedestrian sign on State Street by St. Al's. We also utilize that same type of stop sign that either reprints the image of a stop sign or has the word stop in it, and those direct the drivers that have to stop if pedestrians are in the intersection. And drivers will be cited for failure to stop, just like if it was any other stop sign. So essentially, if there's a pedestrian there either waiting to cross or in the crosswalk, it becomes a stop sign. And we don't have those in too many places, but we do have those around town, and those are the places that the folks are required to stop. So we continually strive to provide a safe environment for the walking public in town, and if there's additional places where you feel that crosswalk signage is needed, please let us know. at the police department, we can assess the traffic pattern and continue to enhance the safety of the walking public. Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, we good? Okay. All right, next up, any unfinished or new business? Okay, all good. No executive session tonight, and do not believe we have any action on any closed session items. With that being said, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Blatzer, seconded by trustee Stapleton. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion approved.
There you go. These aren't clipped together this time.